In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 mistakes that stop most people from ever getting their first Airbnb property off the ground. And more importantly, the exact process that our mentees use to get their first deal done in 30 days and start building a real income alongside their job. No mortgage, no deposit, and no need to own anything. And you don't have to hand your notice in first either. If you've been thinking about rent to rent for a while, you've got the concept, you've done the reading, but something just keeps stopping you from actually moving forward, then this is going to be genuinely useful. Because by the end of it, you'll understand not just what the mistakes are, but why they're so easy to fall into and what the right approach actually looks like.
Quick bit of context on who we are, because I think it matters for what we're about to share. I'm Leon and this is Lauren, and we run LLB Property Academy. We've been named Property Management Company of the Year twice. We've been on ITV and we've been featured in Touchstone Education's national webinars and were published in their brochure. At our peak, we were managing 47 rent-to-rent properties across the UK, and we didn't own a single one. Before all of that, I was a secondary school maths teacher for 10 years, a job I genuinely loved. Lauren was working minimum wage jobs, and then 3 years ago, I suddenly lost the sight in one eye with no warning and no diagnosis. I went from being the main earner to being bedbound, and we had a mortgage, 3 kids, and absolutely no backup plan. We found rent to rent out of desperation. Honestly, we were just trying to survive. Lauren left her job 6 months after we secured our very first property. I followed about 12 months in. A maths teacher with a decade in the classroom gone, not because I wanted to, but because the income from the properties made the salary optional. And that shift going from needing your job to choosing whether you keep it is something that's hard to put into words until you feel it. Some of our mentees have had their first property within 9 days of starting. Others have come from factory jobs and caring roles and built up to multiple properties, bringing in thousands of pounds a month. The point isn't that everyone gets the same result. It's that ordinary people with ordinary lives are doing this every single month when they have the right process behind them.
Here's what we hear from people who come to us pretty much every week. You're working full time, maybe long hours, maybe the shift work, and by the time you get home to your family, there's not a lot left in the tank. You're tired, you're stretched, and there's this feeling inside of you that you're giving your best to someone else's business and arriving home with whatever's left over. You want something of your own, and property keeps coming up every single time as the answer. But every time you look into it, the same walls appear. You need a deposit, you need a mortgage, you need experience that you don't currently have. So it gets put to one side and another few months pass without even realising it. And a lot of people we speak to have already tried to move forward. They've done a course, they've maybe even invested thousands of pounds into mentorship, and they still don't have a deal. And the reason almost every time isn't that they weren't capable, it's that property education tends to give you a lot of information without actually giving you the process or the hands-on part. You sit through hours of training, you get dropped into a community of hundreds of people, and then when you've actually found a property, you need someone that can actually look at the numbers, or you need to know how to speak with the landlord, or you're just not sure what to say or setting up the property even, but there's no one there. Information on its own, it doesn't create action, but the support does. And the truth is, most people don't fail at this because the model doesn't work. They fail because another year goes by while they're still watching YouTube videos, still watching content, and they're waiting to feel ready.
So let me tell you about some of the people who've come through our programme, because I think this is where it stops feeling abstract and starts feeling real. Hayley was a part-time carer and her husband Rob worked in a factory. They have both wanted more time with their kids for a long time. They've got 3 kids together, and one of them has a severe disability and needs a lot of daily care. They didn't come to us with a big vision of building a property business. They came because they wanted choices and freedom with the family. 3 weeks after joining, they had their first property, and within 3 months, they had 4, with a 5-month direct booking secured. They now have 7 properties and Hayley has actually left her job as well from the profits made from this, built entirely around a factory wage and a part-time caring role with 3 kids at home and real pressure on their time.
Chris is a stepdad with a decent salary, and by most people's standards he was doing absolutely fine, pretty well for himself. But what he kept coming back to was that he wanted more time, more say over how his days actually went, to actually be present with his kids rather than handing his best hours to someone else. He had his first property in 9 days after joining us. His second and third came within the same month, and then a contractor company got in touch needing accommodation for a large group. He then split them across all 3 properties and locked in 6-month bookings on every single one at the same time. 3 properties, 1 contractor relationship and 6 months of guaranteed income across all 3 properties. And all of that happened within about 5 weeks of him getting started.
Bridie joined us while she was on maternity leave, 2 young kids, doing this on her own. No pressure to rush, she just worked through it steadily around her life. 10 weeks in, she had her first property, and when she listed it on Airbnb, she got her first booking within 24 hours of going live. Riley and Claire, a factory worker and a carer, had 3 properties within 7 weeks and were bringing in £10,000 a month in income by November. Ryan, who managed a store for Aldi and was working long hours, had his first property 2 weeks in and his second 3 weeks after that. And Jazz and Sarah, a police officer and a carer, had never spoken to a landlord about anything like this before they came to us. 1 month later, 2 properties agreed. What all of them have in common isn't background or money or experience, it's that they followed a process. And that's exactly what we're going to walk you through now.
So why do so many people who genuinely want this spend months or years circling around it without ever actually starting? In our experience, it's almost always comes down to 3 specific mistakes. And I want to be clear, these aren't character flaws. They're not about effort or motivation. They're just 3 things that nobody actually tells you, and that once you see them, suddenly make the whole thing feel a lot more achievable.
The most common thing people do when they decide to get started is open up Rightmove. They start browsing listings, trying to work out whether a particular flat or house might work as an Airbnb, and most of the time they end up going around in circles for weeks without making any progress. The issue is they're asking the wrong question first. The question isn't, is this a good property? It's, is there consistent, proven demand in this area? Because if you answer that first, finding a property that fits becomes really straightforward. You're not hunting for a needle in a haystack anymore. You're placing yourself somewhere demand actually exists. Get it the other way around and you'll spend months searching and never quite feel certain enough to commit.
This one keeps people out the game for longer than anything else. The assumption is that without a mortgage, without a deposit, without owning something, there's just no way in. And it's completely understandable because that's how most people think about property. But rent to rent works completely differently. You agree a fixed monthly rent with a landlord through a proper written agreement. You furnish the property and you manage it as a short-term let, either on Airbnb or through direct contractor bookings. And you keep the difference between what the guests pay you and what you pay to the landlord each and every month. No mortgage needed, no deposit, no ownership required at any point. We had 47 properties and we owned none of them. Every single one was controlled through a legal rent-to-rent agreement. We know the legal questions comes up every single time someone hears this, so let's just be straight about it. Done correctly, with the right paperwork in place, this is a completely legitimate business model. We give every mentee the contracts they need so that there's no guesswork involved. Hayley and Rob didn't get 7 properties because they had 7 properties agreed. They got 7 properties because they had the 7 agreements in place, and that's the shift.
If you ask most people what they're most nervous about when it comes to rent to rent, this is it. Picking up the phone, explaining what you want to do, handling the questions and dealing with a no. And I completely get that. When Lauren was doing our early outreach while I was still bedbound recovering, she was making calls with 3 kids around her and no real script to follow. It was genuinely daunting. But here's what we've learned after building a portfolio of 47 properties. Landlords say yes more often than most people expect. And not because we're particularly good at sales, it's because what we're offering genuinely solves a problem for them. Guaranteed rent every month, whether the property is occupied or not, no void periods, no maintenance calls coming to them, no difficult tenants to manage. For the right landlord, that's a very attractive deal. And when you know how to have that conversation clearly and confidently, the whole dynamic changes. Jazz and Sarah had never spoken to a landlord about anything like this before they came to us. A month later, they had 2 properties. This system is what makes it possible. So if you're watching this and thinking, right, I understand the model, I can see how this works, but I want someone to actually walk me through it and be there when I get stuck, that's exactly what the Rent to Rent Growth Programme is designed to do. It's a focused 3-month programme built around one thing: getting your first rent-to-rent deal secured and running within 30 days. The way it works is through 3 clear stages. First is find. We show you how to identify the right areas and analyse deals properly before you've spoken to a single landlord. Then close. We give you the scripts, the frameworks and the real-time support to go and have those conversations and get your first agreement over the line. And then launch. Making sure that the property is set up correctly, listed properly and actually generating income from day one rather than you figuring it out under pressure on your own.
And throughout all of that, you've got real support around you, not a course that you download and you work through on your own, hoping it all clicks. Every month you get 4 live group coaching calls, and then you get a monthly one-to-one session with us directly, focused entirely on where you are and what needs to happen next. If you find a deal and you're not sure whether the numbers stack up, you put it in Slack and we review it before you commit to anything. All the contracts, the scripts, the compliance, the guides are included, and you've got access to our rent-to-rent AI assistant so that when a question comes up at 11 at night and you're not sitting there stuck until the next call. This isn't a course that you watch and hope for the best. It's a done with you support while you actually go out and get your first deal done. And that distinction matters more than anything else that we could tell you about it.
And we back all of that with a commitment. Follow the process, take the actions, stay engaged, and our goal is to get you your first deal within 30 days. The first deal is the proof of concept, the moment it stops being theoretical. From there, our mentees typically go on to build between £1,000 and £3,000 a month as they grow their portfolio, and plenty go well beyond that. Now, this programme isn't for everyone, and we want to be upfront about that. It's for you if you've been looking into property, but you haven't taken the first step yet. If you want a second income, but you want to build it properly, not guess your way through it. If you want someone in your corner when things get difficult, and if you're genuinely ready to take action, not next month, but now.
It's probably not for you if you're looking for something that does all the work without you actually having to show up, or if you're not in a position right now, financially or mentally, to actually take action. We only take people on we genuinely believe we can get results with, and that's not a line. It's the reason the commitment we talked about actually means something. If that sounds like you, the next step is really, really simple. Message us the word Airbnb on Instagram and we'll have a proper conversation. There's no pressure, no pitch. We'll get a sense of where you're at, what you're actually working with, and whether we think we can genuinely help. If we do, we'll walk you through exactly how to get started. If we don't think it's the right fit, we'll be honest about that too. 3 years ago, we were genuinely desperate. No income, 3 kids and a mortgage, and no idea what we were going to do. That first booking we ever got on that first property in Cumbria, I don't think either of us will ever forget what it felt like. Everything that followed came from one decision: stop researching and start. That decision is sitting right in front of you right now.
Message Airbnb on Instagram right now and we'll see you on the other side.